Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our attendees for taking out the time and joining our 4 essentials to look for in a crowdsourced security platform webinar today. Super excited for all of you guys to attend. We're also very excited to have one of our customers, Rapyd, on the panel with us with Bugcrowd to talk about their journey with the crowdsourced security and also with Bugcrowd. So before I pass it over to our 2 speakers to introduce themselves and take it from here, I know everyone's eager to hear from our speakers, so I'll go over it quickly. But just from an agenda, our speakers will introduce themselves. They'll talk about Rapyd's journey when it comes to crowdsourced security, and some of the insights that our speakers will share on what are the essentials to look for when it comes to a crowdsourced security platform. We'll wrap it up with some final thoughts and a Q&A from our audience. And I'll pass it over now to Cassandra, our VP of Customer Success at Bugcrowd. Cassandra?
Great. Thanks, Murtaza. Hi, everyone. We are thrilled to be here today. I'm really excited about this conversation. And as Murtaza mentioned, I'm Cassandra Morton. I am the VP of Customer Success and Account Management here at Bugcrowd. Joining me today is Achiad Avivi. Achiad, do you mind introducing yourself?
Thank you, Cassandra. Hello, everyone. I'm Achiad Avivi, leading the application security at Rapyd. Rapyd is a global company that allowing businesses to accept, send, hold funds globally by utilizing very simple API system.
Great. Achiad, do you mind mentioning or sharing how long Rapyd's been using crowdsourced security?
Yeah, so at Rapyd, we were trying to, consider crowdsourced security about 4 years ago. We were doing pen tests for some time, and the company was about 100 employees. 75 of them were R&D. So there was a lot of developers, and the security team wasn't, as big. We're just 2 people in security. So the relations were not really, on our end. So we were looking to make our security more effective in a way that we can handle this much of a scale, and also enjoy the capabilities that crowdsourced platform, they allow us to constantly test our, our attack surface and everything.
Yeah, I know that we've talked quite a bit about your specific business case in terms of who works with Bugcrowd within your security organization. And now that it's grown and you said that you're a global organization, can you walk us through a little bit of what that workflow looks like?
Sure. So we use Bugcrowd in every part of our application security engineers lifecycle. So it means that when we have a new employee that is joining the company, Bugcrowd is a great resource for that engineer to understand past incidents that Rapyd had. It's a great place for them to also learn about those incidents, see how we handle them with R&D, and basically learn in addition, because the researchers are constantly updated with the latest security vectors. So there's also, our reverse feedback that our team can learn. And, in addition, the entire team of application security is managing Bugcrowd, is participating in Bugcrowd. We don't dedicate a single person, but everyone is sharing this as a responsibility.
I love hearing about that outcome, just growing up within security, but also ethics and compliance and e-learning and all of that stuff. I love to hear about the outcomes that you're seeing, and that's the continuous improvement, the continuous development of your engineers and their skill sets, just as a result of engaging with and understanding the findings that are becoming available to them. That's great. It's a great story, and it probably feels good to be able to see them improve over time as well.
Yeah, that's a great way to also, measure the team, because many times, application security and, research and things like that sometimes could be hard to define KPIs, but we definitely integrate Bugcrowd into, the yearly goals and our KPIs to measure the application security team. So that's a great part.
Perfect. So given that you've invested so much time and so many resources into integrating your entire security organization to your crowdsourced strategy, let's dig in a little bit on the 4 elements that you look for in a crowdsourced security program. We've talked a little bit in the past about your requirement for a multi-solution SaaS platform, real-time visibility. For those that are newer to all of this, maybe you can describe a little bit more about how the Bugcrowd platform functions to somebody that's never used it before.
Yeah, sure, obviously. So first of all, you need some kind of a platform to facilitate the researchers and have the process of bug bounty, a reward system. You need to have it running. So at Rapyd, as I mentioned, we started when we were about just 2 people in security team. So obviously it's possible, and some companies are building their own ecosystem frameworks for Bugcrowd, for like bug bounty systems, but we were seeking for something that can help us scale really fast and get the value also really fast. So we're looking to integrate with an existing crowdsourced platform. So this was the first thing we were looking for. And regarding to your question, how would you explain Bugcrowd and crowdsourced platforms to people that never had the experience with it? So I think that I would go with, imagine you want to protect your home. So you have a nice home with you have doors, you have windows, and you lock it every day, and you have the alarm system. So for us, the alarm system was like fantastic. We do things regularly. When we leave the house, we turn on the system once a year, once a quarter. We have those kind of tests. But integrating with a crowdsourced platform is like having a group of people that constantly waiting for you to forget to turn on the alarm system. Forget when you lock, the back door or the window. They're constantly there waiting for you to make a mistake. And this is what they're getting a reward out of it. So it's really a great balance between, we're happy to pay for those, reports, because this is what makes the security better. And, the researchers, they can get money and, doing things that make the internet a safer place.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's something relatable that everybody can sort of feel, is just the constant, the barrage that's potentially coming there with them trying to break in. So as you think about leveraging the platform on a regular basis, maybe you can share a little bit about what solutions you use or how you take in those results.
So we obviously, we use Bugcrowd, and we've integrated it with our ticketing system and everything internally. And we see a lot of value by having this constant security testing by those researchers, and finding undiscovered attack surfaces. You constantly have people that looking around the surface. They're looking to find that distant domain that somebody registered 5, 6, 10 years ago, and it has expired, or that AWS server that some developer left, with some internet accessible, and it has been attached to our domain. So stuff like that, we're really excited, and they're really part of the things that we utilize, such a platform for.
Excellent. It's important just to get that breadth of experience too. You had mentioned the hacker community or the researchers that are working on your programs and the breadth of experience that they bring. Just like yourself, many customers within and outside of fintech companies need to ensure that they'll be able to access the right crowd for the organization's evolving needs. So let's talk a little bit about what that means to you and to Rapyd and your program over time. Like, as you were looking for a program in particular, did you have any requirements that were specific to your industry in particular that you needed hackers to be able to have in their background as they participated in your program?
Yeah, so many industries, I would say, the health industry, the financial industry, we have specific requirements, as the business model is different and the impact is different, and the way that we operate, especially at Rapyd, where we're mostly focused on APIs, is different. So we're looking for a different set of vulnerabilities. We're looking for a different set of effect on our business. So we have a very specific use cases where, if, for example, you can, steal money, if you can make a transfer, and instead of getting yourself to the bank account, you get $10, you get $10,000. That's an immediate impact. And comparing to different, use cases, or if you could add another user, it has a different business impact. So we're really focused on a set of vulnerabilities, and we also listed them in our policy. We're really straightforward. We like when researchers participate in our programs. This is something that there's nothing that we like more than see more activity in our page, and see more activity in our organization, because it means that we became safer organization also for our customers. So this is, what we did, specifying the requirements.
You had mentioned engagement too, and I think it's important for us to talk a little bit about hacker engagement and ensuring that we're enticing the right folks to participate in your program. Can you talk a little bit about attracting the right participants and the importance there?
Yes, that's a great question, and I think that I would, split it into two parts, because we started Rapyd as a private program with Bugcrowd, and it was really important for us to get the right people, because if you're running a private program, it means that you need to invite them. And this is where Bugcrowd platform came really into assist. We're able to, specify what matters for us as a financial organization, and API solution means that we're looking at a certain set of skills. After running bug bounty program for a few years, the low-hanging fruits, we still get them, but it's not what we're focusing. It's not where we aim towards. So we need a certain set of skills. And we did the process with Bugcrowd, it was an amazing process of finding the right researchers that gave us, the best of value for our program. So
yeah, and keeping them engaged, right? So that it's a continuous program that you're able to see improve over time is going to be important as well. You had called out too that there is the low-hanging fruit, and sometimes that's nice to share with the broader group. But there is sometimes those meatier findings that you'd like to pull out, those P1s and P2s as well, to be able to ensure that you're getting the return on investment as well and protecting yourselves. That's excellent. So we're talking a little bit about hacker engagement, but it's also important to factor in internal engagement to ensure that the program's running smoothly, right? So we have internal stakeholders that are going to be invested in the program, and a good way to maintain positive experiences by limiting disruption of their interactions and their day-to-day activities where they're working. We just want it to be like air and not have to take somebody out of a system and move them to another system in order to complete their work. So let's talk a little bit about the workflows and what those look like within your organization.
So first of all, we have the workflow working with Bugcrowd, where we work together, which was amazing because we're able to create some kind of a personal communication channel. We have a shared Slack channel, which was very refreshing for us. It makes us really see the other side and have a more ongoing, more instant feedback. And this is part of the reason that we speak today, because we actually created personal relations, and we're able to work together to improve the program. So this would be the first part, the workflow. And the second part is obviously how we utilize Bugcrowd into our R&D processes, which we came from a place where we were very reactive for a few years. Whatever came at Bugcrowd, we were just taking care of it and fixing it. But once we moved forward with our being more proactive security, like product security team, and thinking forward, how can we make crowdsourced platforms have a better ROI for us and focus, so we get those great vulnerabilities. So we came up with some kind of a system where R&D is communicating with our product security team, and they review all the tickets, they review everything that's going to come out in the next month, 2 months, quarter from now on, and they have this little checkbox that they can mark us as a security team. This should be flagged for Bugcrowd announcement, which means that if there's going to be a major change that relates, secrets management, certificates, authentication methods, we can know a few months in advance when are we going to either pull a promotion on it, or we can use Bugcrowd platform for announcements. And it really gives us great feedback from the researchers, from the community, and it really helps us to find vulnerabilities where we feel like we need to focus. So that's great.
That's a great practice too, is just ensuring that you're continuously engaging with the crowd as well through those announcements directly within the platform. So you had mentioned previously a lot of those internal interactions back and forth. What type of integrations and solutions were most important to you to enable those? So
we also integrated Bugcrowd, obviously, into Jira. This was our main place that we work as an R&D and a security team. And it was really great because we're able to simply forward and just attach R&D objectives into the security boards. So it did not create some kind of, forwarding things or duplicating things or need to track and need to find where things are at. So it was really easy for us, to track our KPIs and make sure that we are on board with the times and that we provide a good feedback for the researchers, that we provide good manners in terms of paying bounties and fixing those issues. And for R&D, they became familiar with the community. It became some kind of a drill for the whole R&D team.
Mm-hmm.
They know the hackers, they know their operations, they know the bugs, they know how to treat it now, and they're drilled and they have this in their, in their life cycle of development. So it's a great process that really helps us to fix things fast and respond quickly.
It's great for continuous improvement and even your team's wellness, right? When you think about it, it reduces the amount of friction between emails going back and forth or trying to figure out who's on first and what the next steps are. So I appreciate that. I know we've discussed Rapyd's unique use cases, and that's also including integration through acquisition. Tell me a little bit about how you embed Bugcrowd into your strategy.
So at Rapyd, we do a few acquisitions a year, buying other financial companies. And, for those of you who aren't familiar with the process, it's like having, this other organ that was developed for many years. It has a life on its own, and you now need to embed it into your organization and with everything and within a quick time, So imagine that you're the security team and you have your ongoing tasks that you need to complete. And then you're being told, listen, there's this company that has, hundreds of servers, hundreds of applications, a lot of R&D team, firewalls, everything, and you need to secure them within a month. So we understood that the chances that we are going to be able to deliver, a complete solution to that is very limited. So we decided to utilize Bugcrowd as part of our merging strategy, where we do promotions and we just add those companies into our bug bounty program as soon as we can.
Yep.
And we get great results. Like we get immediate, attack surface discovery, and we get amazing vulnerabilities. And it's our way to welcome the new merged company into Rapyd.
I think what's nice too is that as you begin to learn and know what's out there, you've already started on the right path to becoming more secure as you acquire those companies. It's already stressful, right? Where you're under crunch, you mentioned a month or so that you have to get the team up and running. The beauty is that the platform will allow for mixing and matching of technology and resources just based on what those needs are, the new resources that you've acquired, and new operations that you've acquired. So it helps with the seamlessness to be able to get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty much, we don't know what you're gonna get. It's impossible, and it's impossible within the timely manner. Security teams, we're constantly, outnumbered by R&D. And the processes we must add, the powers of the community. It's just great because we're more than happy to pay, and people are more than happy to help us to be more secure. So it's a really great platform to us.
Great. You'd mentioned just the unknown and getting to know what's out there. And as we move on, I want to dig on something that's near and dear to my heart, which is understanding the expectations when you're working with a vendor or someone like Bugcrowd. So as you're looking for the right partner for your needs, the dedication to customer experience was a big factor in the decision that you had made. Could you tell me a little bit more about your experience with working with Bugcrowd?
Yes. So, as everyone can guess, I'm here and we're doing this webinar together. So this journey has been amazing. We've been working together. Bugcrowd was a complete, enforcement and, extending us as a security team and helping us to reach the goals, because, we had a goal when we joined Bugcrowd, and we thought it's the end of the journey, going public, launching our public program. We thought it was, the end of the journey, but once we reached the end of the mountain, we just saw the next tall mountain, which we're gonna climb, obviously. So, it was very personal. I mentioned before the Slack channel, the meetings, looking for ways to improve our processes. Engagement is really important. How is it important to keep the researchers engaged, and you've been just, amazing, helping us to keep them in the process, helping us to, keep our priorities and our roadmap aligned. And you've been just like an extension of our team, which was amazing.
No, it's great. I think it's important to call out too, you had mentioned Slack as a point of integration for your own team to continue to communicate. You leverage Slack to communicate with the Bugcrowd team. Is that right?
Yeah, we're working with Bugcrowd really closely with Slack. I don't know, is it something that you do just with us or with the rest of the customers?
We have a lot of customers that we communicate with through Slack. Some of them, some don't use it as much. They may not be aware of it, but it is something that we certainly see some positive momentum from. Just this morning, we were able to get a note dropped on a channel and resolve it within just a couple of moments because there was a question that was out there and someone wasn't quite sure what the next steps were. So it's quick, it's immediate, and it's been helpful.
Yeah, it's more personal, I would say, and it's more, just the way we like to work in our program, where we like to solve things quick, we like to triage quickly. It helps us with any question that we have. We can reach out to you, and the Bugcrowd team has been amazing, assisting us with everything that we need and really responsive.
Well, I am pleased to hear that. Of course, as I mentioned, customer success is quite near and dear to my heart, and I'm pleased to see the teams working together so effectively. So, Achiad, you had mentioned you have some distinct requirements that you were looking for in a solution in general. With so many options out there, can you summarize why not you've only selected Bugcrowd, but also why you've continued to remain a customer for the past few years?
Yes. So I think that I would say, the reason of going for a crowdsourced platform is because, first of all, there's a power of human, that we need to keep up with. There's scaling constantly, and we just can't keep up. So we're looking for a platform that can help us scale and that can help us keep on track and help us feed us back with, insights and help us find, like we discussed, everything that we discussed is pretty much the reason that we've been working with Bugcrowd, finding the right people, maintaining people engaged, having the close relation, everything is why we're still a customer of Bugcrowd. And we see good results. We see good results in our program, and we're very happy with it. We launched publicly, we stood in our goals, we've been able to successfully run the program. It's been just successful. So you don't replace something that works great.
Great. Well, I'm excited to see what we continue to do together as we work on your program and partner up together. So we're really happy to hear that you're pleased. And I'm sure those listening would love to know any advice you have for organizations considering crowdsourced security vendors. Do you have any tips that you'd like to share for the team?
Yes, the first is don't wait. Many companies, they go and say, we're just this amount of people. We're just 100, we're just 50, 1,000, not 1,000. We're just 100 people, in the organization. We're not big. We don't need, or we can't afford, or we can't maintain a Bugcrowd or a crowdsourced, platform. And, my biggest advice that I could give them is don't be scared. You go to those platforms and they scale up with you. So it can give you a lot of insights. It can give you a lot of value, especially when you cannot scale up your team to 10 employees when you're a 100 people company. So this would be, the first advice. You don't need to go large on bug bounty program. You just need to start. So this would be the first thing. And the second thing, be very particular, and not particular, but be understanding that the first year is going to be a lot of discovery. You're going to find out a lot of things, and we found out a lot of our surface and of our application. So there's a lot of learning as well.
Great. Yeah, there's always something out there that you'll be surprised by, and the team's going to be here to help guide you through it, which is nice. So yeah. When you think about hackers and the crowd, are there any tips that you can share for them specific to Rapyd's program that you'd like to get out there?
Yeah, so I'd love to. So if you're listening, first of all, Rapyd, we would split it into two parts, new program and more mature program. So the new programs are more focused towards, low-hanging fruits and automations and scanning, but the more mature programs are looking for those business logic vulnerabilities, things that really affect our business, like I mentioned earlier, things that affect money. If you can transfer a certain amount of money and you get more, then it's a problem for us. So the thing I would tell you is try to play a little bit with, with the product, especially at Rapyd. We have a full onboarded sandbox environment that, researchers can self-onboard. They can try everything. We have a very detailed documentation, understanding the APIs, understanding everything. And we really, we like to pay for those kind of vulnerabilities, and we give bonuses. And there's nothing that we love more than, it's funny to say, but seeing those P1 vulnerabilities on our API and stuff like that, because we constantly know that we get better as long as we learn from that. And we know for sure that we are more secure, and no one else, malicious can exploit this vulnerability moving forward.
Great. Perfect. I appreciate that. And I'm sure the team out there would appreciate it as well as they get started.
Yeah.
Excellent. Murtaza, I think at this point we might have some Q&A.
Yes, we do. And it was, I think the audience was absolutely, captivated, and we've got actually a bunch of questions. So we can start, Achiad, we can start with you. The first one, did you move from another vendor to Bugcrowd, or did you start with Bugcrowd?
We started at another vendor, and about a year ago, we decided to move to Bugcrowd, actually.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Next one is for actually both of you, and maybe if both of you can chime in, is how do you keep the crowd engaged in the program?
I'll take that one first, and then Achiad, maybe you can share your personal experience, and I'm sure it lines up. So we do partner closely with each of our customers to understand the outcomes that they're trying to achieve. So Achiad mentioned his outcomes. They can be different than any other organization that we're typically engaging with. We try and understand, how the hackers will look at that program and what will be most enticing to them based on the parameters that we've been provided. We'll bring on subject matter experts to suggest program enhancements, recommendations that will attract the right talent and keep them interested in the hunt. And of course, we'll provide coaching and feedback on rewards, swag, marketing, announcement engagements, and so forth to continue attracting hackers to participate.
So I totally connect to whatever you said, and it's all part of our methodology for keeping hackers engaged. Mm-hmm. And if it's the announcements that keep Rapyd's program in mind for the researchers, or the bonuses, the bounties, obviously the amount of money that we're paying and cool swag that we're sending out to people that we work closely with Bugcrowd on, cooperating on that and creating unique swag for our program and the message that we're trying to pass forward. And I would just add one more thing, which is putting yourself in the shoes of the researchers, understanding, there's people on the other hand. So understanding that makes you run a more successful program. Think about, before you reply to some researcher or before you pay the bounty, think that you just submitted that. And this, I can say that for our team, it changed a lot, because it's just the way that we communicate. It's a key. It's really important for us.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, thank you both. So Achiad, we actually have a follow-up from the gentleman who asked about if you moved from another vendor to Bugcrowd. I guess the follow-up question is, what was the reason you moved to Bugcrowd? And I'm sure all of the 4 essentials that we talked about were probably part of it, but I would love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so for us, obviously, without going too much into details, I would say that we're really enjoying working with the customer success team and working closely and having those, personal relations with the team and with our, the account managers and everything. It was a key for us. So this is, it's really important for us. And it was a key in Rapyd's, program success. And, we felt safe. You need to feel safe in order to launch public. And it's funny, I don't know why, but we needed to feel safe before we go, and expose ourselves out there, and we say to everyone, listen, here's the target, is on the main page, please hit it. So it took us some time and a maturity, but we eventually felt safe with Bugcrowd, and it was a really good process for us.
Awesome. Thank you. Cassandra, we have one for you. Achiad, Rapyd with a financial technologies company, the approach that Bugcrowd has, how is it different with other industries or other organizations in other sectors?
There are a lot of similarities. I think first and foremost is the experience that Achiad's gone through is not going to differ from industry to industry based off of working with Bugcrowd and working with the team. While he does have some different targets and some different ways to entice folks to his program in particular, I would say in general, he's going to experience the same return on investment. He's going to receive some great results from a crowd across the board versus just going to the same testers again and again and getting the same types of results over time.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. And Achiad, we have one more for you that just came in. When selecting a crowdsourced security platform organization, how did you pitch it to your leaders, and how did they come about making a decision to even go with a crowdsourced security platform?
That's a great question for whoever asked it. So we mentioned in the past, ROI, the word, the golden word that really helped us with management, because there's ROI is really attached into the crowdsourced platform, because most of the activity, most of the funds that we had to collect and the management work that we had to do was for the bounties. And bounties is really easy to compare. If you're able to steal $1 million from Rapyd, paying $15,000-$20,000 for such a vulnerability, it's a direct ROI. It's a direct way for us to show it, and we did not hide it from the management. Critical issues and such vulnerabilities, they were pitched and they were presented as something that we're proud of, the tool that we're using, the security tool in Rapyd's security toolbox, was able to mitigate this and help us to solve it. And it did not, go public, and no one else was able to exploit it. So, it wasn't easy, obviously, during those times to get the budget, but it really helps the model that, people are also getting compensation and bounties for things that have the impact. You don't need to compensate for things that they do not have any business impact on you.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for sharing. I think that's, again, the whole, idea of the business organization working with the security teams together and having that one goal of, again, keeping things secure, as well as making sure the business continues to move forward. That's great. Thank you very much for your time. We'll wrap it up there. I don't see any more questions that are coming in, but would like to take the time to thank our audience who took out the time to participate in our webinar that with great questions. And also thank you to our speakers. Achiad, I know coming in, it's late for you, but you took out time for us, so really appreciate it. Cassandra, you are a natural. Love to have you on our panels here at Bugcrowd. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to our speakers. As I said in the beginning, we will have a on-demand version of this webinar available that will communicate, and look forward to more exciting webinars coming from Bugcrowd. Thank you so much.